All right, man. Last but not least, man. Rod, it's your turn, dog. It's your turn, dog. There you go, man. There you go. We've been
Glad,
hearing glad he's not our QB about this
glad he's not.
dude
Oh, wait a
since
second.
rookie
He
year.
is. He is. Glad he's not my QB, Herbie. He is. He's that. But you know what, Herbie? I've talked a lot about Tua on this channel, so I thought to myself, I said, you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something a little unorthodox. I'm gonna give people. I'm gonna give you guys a bunch of statistical reasons why he's good right now, and then I'm gonna shoot all that shit down with two reasons. But here we go.
Nah, man,
These
talk your shit. Talk your shit, Rod.
So Herbie, so Warren Sharp, who's a stats guy, Sharp Football, he came out with this because I guess people were arguing about Tua on the internet, which has been a popular NFL pastime since he's been drafted. So I'm just really just gonna go through his shit because I thought this encapsulates perfectly how I feel about Tua when I bring up my point. Right? He goes to this is Warren Sharp. He goes today alone. I've seen people refer to Tua as a complete embarrassment of a quarterback, borderline unserviceable, pathetic garbage. So he goes, I knew he was somewhat polarizing, but I didn't realize so many people were so out of touch with his actual performance. So let's talk Tua. So he goes on to say, Herbie, did you know that in 2024, Tua ranked number 4 in EPA and number 3 in success? Did you know that in 2023, he ranked number 2 in EPA and number 2 in success rate? Did you know in 2022, Tua ranked number 2 in EPA and number 5 in success rate? Did you know that Tua is the only quarterback in the NFL to rank top 5 in both EPA and success rate in each of the last 3 years? Did you know from 2022 to 2024, out of 64 quarterbacks with 200 plus attempts, Tua ranks number 3 in EPA. He ranks number 3 in success rate. He ranks number 2 in yards per attempt. He ranks number 2 in yards per completion. He ranks number 2 in 15 plus yards explosive rate plays. It gets better. Did you know that Tua has to use the number 1 fastest time to throw of all the 64 quarterbacks in the last 3 years because the offensive line has been terrible? Did you know his offensive line is ranked bottom 10 in pass block win rate 3 of the last 4 years? The last 3 years, this offensive line was number 2 in the highest holding rate in penalties, number 1 in fastest time to sack of any offensive line, number 1 in the highest
Jesus
rate
Christ.
Number 1 in the highest rate of running backs stuffed at the line. Number 1, and I know this 100%. Worst shortage yard rushing rate, right? Last but not least, the last slide before I get to my point. Did you know, even with a super fast average time of release, Tua has been deadly accurate downfield on passes launched 15 plus air yards in the last 3 years. Tua ranks number 1 in success rate, number 2 in completion rate, number 2 in EPA, number 3 in yards per attempt. And this was the most damning one, Herbie. Did you know? Well, these last two, they go together. Did you know Tua has led the Dolphins to a winning record in his starts in each of the last 5 years? Did you know how many other QBs can say the same? Only 3, Herbie. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. These 3 quarterbacks and Tua are the only quarterbacks in the NFL the last 5 years to lead their teams to a winning record in all their starts all 5 years. Herbie, I think a lot of people, and I watched Tua's tape, Herbie, and I always say that Tua is a really good quarterback. I've mentioned plenty of times. If you go on some of these old videos, I've called him top 10, Herbie. I think when Tua is on, he's as good as any quarterback in the NFL, and you see it when you actually watch him play. But despite all that information, that is factual information that can be detailed, that can be found, there is one and another 1.5 reasons why he ended up on this list, Herbie. And I'm just going to go ahead and just put it eloquently. The best ability is not accuracy. The best ability is not throwing the ball extremely fast. The best ability is not anticipation. The best ability, Herbie, is not just processing. The best ability, folks, is availability. And Tua does not have that ability. Tua does not have that ability, Herbie. Herbie, picture this. In all of Tua's years, he's played 5 years in this league. He has one season where he played all 17 games. He came into his rookie year hurt, okay, coming off the hip surgery. He started in the seventh game of the season. Second year, he gets blasted against the Bills in week 2, crushes his ribs. He misses 4 games, misses another game down in the season. He's playing with injuries, thumb injuries, all this. The next year, it starts the concussion saga,
Mm.
where he gets knocked out for 3 games, and then he couldn't even finish the season because he hit his head against the Packers. And then you have the year where he was healthy, and then you have last season, Herbie. What happened? Concussion issues again. Tua is liable to miss about 4 to 5 games a year, Herbie. And if this was a sport like basketball, if this was a sport like hockey, if this was a sport like like baseball, your star quarterback, your star player missing 5 games is a fart
Yeah,
in the wind. In
far in the wind.
football, Herbie, that's 20-30% of the games you play. And at the end of the day, the quarterbacks, I had the numbers for when Tua starts and when he doesn't start, but everybody knows that story. Everybody knows the Dolphins are wickedly terrible when Tua doesn't play because we have terrible backups to boot. But it also goes to show how much talent that he has. But Herbie, it doesn't matter how much talent he has if he's not on the field. It doesn't matter how much talent he has if at the end of the season when we need to get playoff positioning or we need a game to get in the playoffs, he may not be available. And at the end of the day, Herbie, this is why other teams will look at the Dolphins and they will go, I'm glad that he is not our QB. The other caveat, Herbie, because the injuries for me is the main one, but I recognize and I can acknowledge that this is a valid point. And we gave Justin Herbert shit for this. We gave Dak shit for this. And at the end of the day, Kyler Murray can actually kind of wear this because Kyler Murray is one of those quarterbacks to where when things go wrong, they just fucking snowball. Tua's part of that
Mm-hmm.
crowd too, Herbie. Tua does not have a great record against winning teams. Tua in his lone playoff appearance looked absolutely inept. And granted, it was one of the coldest playoff games in history, but he was in it and he didn't play well. And at the end of the day, Herbie, what's the big knock on Tua? Tua doesn't show up for big games. Tua chokes in big games. And the beautiful thing about football, Herbie, for all these guys, not just Tua, for all the guys we mentioned in this tier, you will always have a chance to rewrite your narrative.
Yeah,
We
for
we were
sure.
hey, listen, we gave Matthew Stafford shit for years, and even to this day, my view of him isn't like super much higher because he won a title. But at the end of the day, you can change your story. And all these guys are, well, the exception of Trevor Lawrence and Sam Darnold. The other guys, they have to change your story, right? But between Tua and Dak and Justin Herbert and Kyler Murray, these guys have the opportunity to change their narratives this season coming up. But as of right now, I'm pretty sure most fans of other team, when they look at those guys, they go, "I'm glad he's not our QB."
Yeah. Hey man, hey man, that was great. That was great. That was legitimately great. That was legitimately great. I'm really having fun with these QB tiers, man. So next week we're gonna debut a new tier, man. We still working on the title. We still working on the title, but you are gonna be very surprised in who is in this tier. Especially now, you might not be completely surprised because if you've been following, you might take a guess. But there's gonna be some surprising dudes that we're gonna make a very positive case for. Um, Rod, I'm not gonna hold you. I want to have that Teron Armstead conversation, but we can't do that in 5 minutes. There's too much layers to it. There's a
No,
lot
we
that
can
I
do.
want to do.
We can shove that
So
for next week, man. Yeah,
we're gonna definitely come back with that next week because there's a message that needs to be told, bro. So we'll do that next week because I think we have 5 quarterbacks in the next tier, and then we could just
yeah,
do
about
both of them. Yeah. So we'll knock that out next week, man. So any last words before we get out of here, bro?
Listen, Herbie, I have, as always, man, I had a ton of fun doing this. Hopefully, everybody in the chat, we'll get our days back on point, man. Technical
Yeah,
difficulties.
man. Being
Listen.
grown ups,
Yeah,
bills, got to get
yeah.
paid. That's
This
life.
shit get paid,
Rod,
man.
hey, shout out to you, man. The thing is ice clear. You got 5 bars. We don't want to hear nothing about Rod's internet. We don't want to hear nothing about no damn fire
Hey,
alarm.
hey,
All
hey, hey,
right.
hey, y'all hear it? Yeah, y'all don't hear y'all
Yeah,
don't hear that smoke alarm.
yeah.
Y'all don't hear y'all don't hear the third co-host, nigga. Y'all don't hear it. Hey, but man, one more time, man. Shout out to everybody who helped us get to over 1,000. Hell, we about to hit 1,100 pretty soon.
Very
Yeah.
soon. Yeah, we are definitely on the train right now, dog. So for sure, man. So we'll see y'all how we always do, man. Deuces.